from the humid deltas of the Mekong to the deadly skies of Route Pac 6. This is the complete catalog of US aviation during the Vietnam War. Let's start with the fighters and attack aircraft. F-4 Phantom II, the Brute, a massive twin-engine interceptor that became the icon of the war. Flown by the Air Force, Navy, and Marines, it relied on raw power and missiles to dominate the skies, serving as the primary MiG killer of the conflict. F-105 Thunderchief, the Thud, a supersonic fighter-bomber designed for nuclear war but tasked with bombing North Vietnam. It bore the brunt of the Rolling Thunder campaign, using its incredible low-level speed to survive the world's densest air defenses. F-100 Super Sabre, the Hun, the first U.S. fighter capable of supersonic speed in level flight. In Vietnam, it traded its interceptor role for mud-moving, flying thousands of close air support missions to protect troops on the ground. F-8 Crusader, the last gunfighter. While other jets relied on missiles, the Crusader retained its 20mm cannons. It earned a reputation as a dogfighter stream, claiming the highest kill ratio of any Navy aircraft in the war. A-4 Skyhawk, the Scooter, a lightweight, nimble attack jet that punched far above its weight. A favorite of the Navy and Marines, it delivered ordnance with precision and served as the backbone of carrier strikes throughout the war. A-6 Intruder, the all-weather hammer. With its bulbous nose housing advanced radar, it could find and destroy targets in pitch-black darkness or blinding monsoon rains, ensuring the pressure on the enemy never ceased. A-7 Corsair II, the SLUF, short little ugly feller. Replacing the Skyhawk, it brought the first heads-up display to the fleet, revolutionizing bombing accuracy and allowing pilots to deliver payloads with unprecedented precision. F-111 Aardvark, the Whisper, a swing-wing bomber that introduced terrain-following radar. It flew alone at night, hugging the treetops at supersonic speeds to strike deep inside North Vietnam without ever being seen. F-5 Freedom Fighter, the Skirmisher, a small, agile fighter tested in the Skashi Tiger program. Simple and reliable, it was perfect for the close-quarters fighting of the South and was supplied in large numbers to the South Vietnamese Air Force. A-1 Skyraider, the Spad, a piston-engine anachronism in a jet war. Its ability to carry a massive load and loiter for hours made it the perfect escort for rescue missions, suppressing enemy fire while helicopters picked up downed pilots. 37 Dragonfly, the Super Tweet, a tiny trainer modified into a ferocious ground attacker, could operate from short, rough airstrips and carry a bomb load nearly equal to its own weight, proving that size didn't matter. B-52 Canberra, the Night Worker, a British design adopted by the USAF. With its long wings and large bomb bay, it excelled at night interdiction, hunting trucks on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Now, the bombers and gunships, B-52 Stratofortress, the Sledgehammer, the ultimate symbol of American air power. Flying in cells of 3, they carpet-bombed suspected enemy concentrations in the south and obliterated industrial targets in the north during Operation Linebacker. A C-47 Spooky, Puff the Magic Dragon, a World War II cargo plane fitted with 3 miniguns. It circled friendly outposts at night, raining down a curtain of fire that could break any infantry assault. A C-130 Spectre, the Angel of Death, the ultimate gunship evolution. Armed with Vulcan cannons and a 105mm howitzer, it hunted trucks with sophisticated sensors, becoming the deadliest weapon on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. A C-119 Shadow and Stinger, the truck hunters, twin-boom transports converted into gunships to supplement the AC-47. The Stinger version added jet engines and 20mm cannons to increase its lethality. Next, the electronic warriors and naval heavies. Douglas A-3 Sky Warrior, the Whale, the largest and heaviest aircraft ever to operate from an aircraft carrier. Originally a nuclear bomber, in Vietnam it served as a tanker, electronic jammer, and reconnaissance platform. Grumman E-1 Tracer, the Stuff with a roof. Before the Hawkeye, there was the Tracer. With a massive distinct radome carried on its back, it provided critical early warning radar coverage for the fleet in the early years of the war. Grumman E-2 Hawkeye, the Hummer. Arriving late in the war, this twin turboprop with a rotating radar dish became the eyes of the fleet. It could track enemy MiGs hundreds of miles away and direct F-4 Phantoms to intercept them. A-6A Electric Intruder, the jammer. Instead of bombs, it carried massive electronic pods to jam North Korean radar. It played a deadly game of cat and mouse with surface-to-air missile sights, blinding them so the strikers could survive. A-1 Warning Star, the Big Eye, a radar-carrying constellation that orbited over the Gulf of Tonkin. It provided early warning of MiG attacks and guided American fighters to their targets. B-52 Destroyer, the Shepherd, a converted bomber filled with electronic warfare gear. It escorted strike packages, blinding enemy radars to protect the F-105s and F-4s from surface-to-air missiles. Now, the Reconnaissance and Forward Air Control, State Route 71 Blackbird, the king of speed. Flying at Mach 3 at the edge of space, it photographed North Vietnam with impunity, outrunning every surface-to-air missile ever fired at it. RF-4 Phantom, the camera carrier. These pilots flew unarmed into the teeth of enemy defenses to bring back the proof of bomb damage. RA-5C Vigilante, the sleek spy, a large, supersonic carrier-based reconnaissance jet. It used advanced electronic and optical sensors to map enemy positions. RF-8 Crusader, the low-level eye. Smile, you're on candid camera. These unarmed crusaders flew terrifyingly low over targets to get high-resolution photos, earning their pilots a reputation for nerves of steel. A-1 Bird Dog, the FAC, a tiny, slow observation plane that marked targets with white phosphorus rockets. Its pilots flew low and slow, daring the enemy to shoot so the fighters above could see where to bomb. A-2 Skymaster, the push-pull, a twin-engine replacement for the Bird Dog. With an engine in the front and back, it offered more reliability and staying power for the dangerous forward air control mission. OV-10 Bronco, the counterinsurgent, a twin-boom light attack aircraft designed specifically for jungle warfare, could loiter for hours, direct airstrikes, and even fire its own rockets and guns. OV-1 Mohawk, the Watcher, an Army surveillance aircraft with a distinctive bug-eyed cockpit. It used radar and infrared sensors to monitor enemy movement along the borders. Now, the Secret War and Special Missions. North American T-28 Trojan, the Secret War Fighter, a radial engine trainer loaded with gun pods and napalm. Flown by the Ravens in Laos, these planes operated off dirt strips in the jungle, flying missions that officially never happened. Lockheed Y-03 Quiet Star, the Ghost, one of the weirdest aircraft of the war. It was essentially a glider powered by a silent engine. It flew at night at treetop level, completely silent, using night vision to spot enemy troops without them ever knowing. Helio U-10 Courier, the CIA's taxi, a short takeoff and landing legend. Could take off from a soccer field and fly so slowly it looked like it was hovering. Used to drop spies and supplies into the deepest parts of the jungle. Beechcraft Q-22 Pave Eagle, the Drone Killer, a modified civilian plane with a massive hump for electronics. Its job was to relay signals from sensors dropped on the trail. It was designed to be flown as a drone, but usually had a pilot on board. Ryan AQM-34 Firebee, the robot spy. Long before the Predator drone, there was the Firebee. These jet-powered unmanned drones were launched from C-130s to take photos of the most heavily defended targets in Hanoi. Next, the Bush Pilots and Forgotten Giants. Pilatus PC-6 Porter, the CIA's workhorse, famous for the movie Air America, a Swiss-made STOL aircraft that could land on the side of a mountain. It carried spies, opium, and refugees throughout Laos and Vietnam. De Havilland U-6 Beaver, the Bush King, a rugged utility plane used by the Army and Air Force to ferry generals to muddy outposts. It didn't need a runway, just a clearing in the trees. De Havilland U-1 Otter, the Beaver's big brother, a larger single-engine transport. It was the lifeline for Special Forces A camps, bringing in mail and fresh food to the most isolated soldiers in the war. Grumman HU-16 Albatross, the Angel of the Sea, an amphibious flying boat used by the Air Force and Coast Guard. It would land in the open ocean to pick up downed pilots, serving as a critical link in the search and rescue chain. Lockheed OP-2E Neptune, the submarine hunter turned gunship. Originally designed to hunt Soviet subs, the Navy modified these with miniguns and grenade launchers to patrol the Mekong Delta and drop sensors on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Lockheed C-133 Cargomasta, the Forgotten Giant. Before the C-5 Galaxy, this was the heavy lifter. It carried Atlas ICBMs and entire helicopters inside its belly. It flew the main supply route from California to Saigon until structural fatigue forced it into retirement. Lockheed T-33 Shooting Star, the T-Bird, a jet trainer used for combat support. While mostly for training, in Vietnam they flew administrative flights and sometimes acted as visual decoys to confuse enemy radar operators. Sikorsky SH-37 Mojave, the ancient lifter, a massive piston-engine helicopter from the 1950s with huge clamshell doors in the nose. It was the Army's heavy lifter before the Chinook arrived, recovering crashed aircraft from the jungle floor. Next, the transports. C-130 Hercules, the Lifeline, the rugged tactical transport that kept the war moving. It landed on dirt strips under fire to deliver ammo and food to besieged bases like Kisan. C-123 Provider, the Sprayer, a smaller transport famous for its role in Operation Ranch Hand, spraying Agent Orange to deny cover to the enemy, but also serving as a vital cargo hauler. C-7 Caribou, the Bush Taxi, STOL transport capable of landing on incredibly short and rough runways. It supplied the Special Forces camps deep in the jungle where no other plane could go. C-141 Starlifter, the Strategic Link, the first all-jet strategic transport. It became the Hanoi Taxi, flying the sick and wounded home and bringing in the massive tonnage of supplies needed to fight the war. C-5 Galaxy, the Titan. Arriving late in the war, this massive airlifter could carry tanks and helicopters, proving its worth during the frantic evacuation efforts at the end of the conflict. Finally, the helicopters. UH-1 Iroquois, the Huey, the icon of Vietnam. It was everywhere, inserting troops, evacuating wounded, and providing gunship support. It fundamentally changed warfare, creating the concept of airmobile operations. AH-1 Cobra, the Snake, the world's first dedicated attack helicopter. Built to escort the Hueys, its slim profile and heavy armament made it a terrifying presence for enemy infantry. CH-47 Chinook, the Hook, the twin-rotor heavy lifter. It carried artillery batteries to mountaintops and recovered downed aircraft, proving indispensable in the rugged terrain of Vietnam. H-46 Sea Knight, the Marine Bus. Similar to the Chinook but smaller, it was the primary assault helicopter for the Marines, carrying troops from ships to the jungle landing zones. CH-53 Sea Stallion, the Jolly Green, the largest helicopter of the war. It was used for heavy transport and famously for long-range combat search and rescue missions. Sikorsky SH-3 Sea King, the Apollo Star. While famous for picking up astronauts, in Vietnam it was the Navy's primary search and rescue helicopter at sea. Heavily armored Big Mothers would fly deep into North Vietnam to rescue downed aviators. UH-6 Cayuse, the Loach, a small, egg-shaped scout helicopter. Its job was to fly at treetop level to draw fire, exposing enemy positions for the Cobras circling above to destroy. UH-3E Jolly Green Giant, the Savior, a modified transport helicopter with armor and refueling probes. It ventured deep into North Vietnam to snatch down pilots from the jaws of capture. HH-43 Husky, the Firefighter, a quirky helicopter with intermeshing rotors. It was primarily used for base rescue, carrying a fire suppression kit to save crews from burning crashes on the runway. From the wop-wop of the Huey to the sonic boom of the Phantom, the Vietnam War redefined air power for the modern age. This is the WarDex.